morning and welcome to our abnormal psychology. So today we are going to continue the history of abnormal psychology. We are seeing it very briefly because it's a quite long history, but we are summing up and we see the synthesis of the history of abnormal behavior. So we have already begun last class. So we are going to continue the history of abnormal psychology. So let us speak about the Middle Ages. We have seen the Stone Ages, the early Greek thinkers, mainly the great people like Hippocrates, Plato, Aristotle. So now we have come to the Middle Ages, that is from 500 to 1500 AD. How this abnormal psychology has developed. Okay, so the first one, starting in the Middle Ages, the first mental health hospital was established in Baghdad in the year 791 AD. In Baghdad, it's the capital of Iraq. The first mental health hospital was established in the year 791 AD. And then we come to an important figure called Avicenna. That is from the time 1980 to 1037 AD. He is considered as the outstanding figure in Islamic tradition. Very important figure, very crucial figure in Islamic tradition, and he has made a vast contribution, a solid contribution to the field of abnormal psychology. That's why he is known as Prince of Physicians. Among all the physicians of his time, he was termed as the Prince of Physicians because of his significant and considerable contribution to the field of abnormal psychology. And he is the author of the book called A Canon of Medicine, one of the important contribution. And that special work is known as the Canon of Medicine, and he is the author of that particular work. So it is in brief the contribution of Avicenna, an outstanding figure in Islamic tradition, and he is known as the Prince of Physicians, and he is the author of A Canon of Medicine. In those days, in the Middle Ages, the mental disorders were very prevalent. They were very commonly found, even though they were not properly understood. As we said in the beginning, it was considered to be as the work of the devil or the anger of gods and goddesses. So they used several methods to get rid of that evil possession or demonic possession. So these mental disorders were very commonly present in the Middle Ages. And that's why these great personalities were trying to understand how to deal with this and what can be the remedy to relieve people from this abnormal behavior or this mental sickness. So mental disorders are prevalent, are existent, are very commonly present, are seen in the people of this time, in the Middle Ages. And the scientific inquiry was very much limited. Even though the mental disorders were commonly present, their understanding was very much limited, and the scientific inquiry was also very much limited. They were not advanced. So, in spite of their efforts, that inquiry was a scientific approach, scientific research, a scientific inquiry was very much limited during Middle Ages. And during the Middle Ages, there was something called mass madness. As we said earlier, that is, mental disorders were prevalent, very common. So there was a trend, a phenomenon called mass madness. It was widespread, especially in Europe. It was present everywhere. And mainly the hysteria. Hysteria we have seen as earlier also. This kind of excessive mood or elevated mood. People are in the manic stage. So this mass madness was commonly present during those times. And it also was known as dance mania in the 10th century. Dance mania, because people, those who are into this mass madness or hysteria, they will be in excessive mood or in elevated mood. So they would go for dancing in it's a very strange phenomenon, abnormal phenomenon. That's why it's known as mass madness. And that is also known as dance mania. This mass madness or this hysteria or the elevated mood or excessive mood or excessive emotional state also moved people or pushed people to perform dances. So that's why it is called dance mania. And people also term it as Saint Vincent's dance. So this dance was attributed to Saint Vincent. So people would call it with that name, Saint Vincent's dance. And this particular mass madness, which began mainly in Italy, was very widespread in Italy. From Italy, this mass madness, this hysteria, dance mania, this Vincent's dance slowly moved to Germany. From Italy, this mass madness was moving towards Germany, and from Germany to the rest of the Europe. From Germany to the rest of the Europe. So it was a commonly found phenomenon. Mass madness was widespread in Europe. Mainly the hysteria, which is excessive mood or elevated mood, found in the people, those who are disturbed, those who are having this abnormal behavior, or those who are developing some kind of mental sickness or mental disabilities. And they used to perform a kind of dance. So it is known as dance mania, especially in 10th century, which is also known as Saint Vincent's dance. Started spreading from Italy to Germany, and to Germany to the rest of Europe. That was about this mass madness. Because we have stated earlier, mental disorders were prevalent. They are very common in those days. And there was also something called lycanthropy. Lycanthropy, which means it's a mystical transformation of a human person into wolf. So some people believed, they had this delusion or faulty thinking or faulty understanding or false perception of themselves, thinking that they are an animal, mainly they are wolves, and they are behaving accordingly. That is called lycanthropy. Lycanthropy is a mystical transformation of a person. Mystical transformation of a human person. Nothing is happening, but it is their faulty thinking or faulty perception because of this mental disturbance, because of their abnormality that was present. They had this kind of experience, or they believe that they are a mystical transformation of the person into wolf. That is a deluded thinking. A delusion means a faulty thinking, a faulty perception, an abnormal thinking, a deviated thinking. And it is called impairment in thinking or impairment in cognition. It is also called delusion. Also, in other words, means cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion. So these people, those who are affected with this particular sickness or mental disorder or abnormality, they believe that they are a kind of mystical transformation of themselves into wolves. In other words, the deluded thinking, the delusion of being an animal, especially a wolf, and they are behaving also like wolves. So that is the result of this cognitive distortion or delusion. It's a clear sign of abnormality. That is called lycanthropy. So this was the situation of the Middle Ages. So mental disorders were very commonly present. Scientific inquiry was very much limited. Mass madness was widespread throughout Europe, and mainly hysteria, which is an excessive mood or elevated mood. And they would even go for dancing, that is called dance mania, especially in the 10th century, which is also known as Saint Vincent's dance, spread from Italy to Germany and from Germany to the rest of the Europe. And there was also another strange phenomenon during these Middle Ages, that is called lycanthropy, which is the mystical transformation of the human person into wolf, or delusion of being an animal. The person believes, or person falsely perceives that he is becoming like an animal, he is becoming like a wolf, or he is the wolf and he behaves accordingly. That is called lycanthropy, that is mainly because of the delusion, which is, in other words, means cognitive distortion. Cognition means our thinking pattern. When there is distortion or disturbance or deviation in our cognition, that becomes delusion. As a result of this delusion, the person believed that he is an animal, he is a wolf, and he was also behaving accordingly or exhibiting abnormal behaviors. A human person behaving like an animal, human person believing to be a wolf and exhibiting the behavior of the wolf. That is called lycanthropy. So this was the existing situation of the time. Mental disorders are very prevalent. So the task was entrusted to the clergy. Europe being mainly a Christian continent, the majority of the populations were Christians. So the patients also were found among the Christians. So it was mainly given to the clergy to deal with the situation. We have already seen, even in the earlier times, there was a kind of exorcism was done in the earlier stages, but now this became very common, exorcism. And it was done by the clergy, by the priest. They were given this responsibility, or they were given the task to help the people to cope up with their abnormal behavior or to come out of their abnormal behavior. Because still that kind of understanding of demonology was present to a certain extent. So all these behaviors, all these strange phenomena were attributed to a certain sense to demonic possessions. Because of this, scientific inquiry was very much limited. Because of that reason, because of the lack of scientific research and understanding, it was attributed to demons. So exorcism was prevalent. Exorcism was used to help people to come out of this sickness or to cope with their existing situation. So what they will do, the people those who are affected, these mentally retarded people or mentally disturbed people or people with abnormality, they were sent to monasteries. They were sent to institutions. Because it is the place where the clergy were living, where the priests were living together. So these monasteries and institutions, they became the places of confinement and treatment. Confinement means that is the place, kind of asylum, a refuge center. For all the affected people, they were taken to the institutions. They were taken to these monasteries and institutions. And these monasteries and institutions, they served as the places of confinement. They served as the places of treatment for these mentally disturbed people. And what are the strategies used when we talk about exorcism? In concreteness, it means the prayers were uttered, holy water was sprinkled upon these people, and the breath and the spittle of the priest was also utilized to cast out or to help the person to come out of this abnormal behavior. And the relics of the saints, because they are living in the monastery and institutes, they are all clergy and the priest, so the relics of the saints were also utilized, used to help the persons to get rid of this abnormal behavior. And these people were also taken to visit the holy places, kind of pilgrimage, to change their mentality, to help them to come out of their abnormal behavior and mental disorders. So these are the strategies, these are the activities that come under exorcism. Prayers, sprinkling of the holy water, the breath and the spittle, the saliva of the priest and the clergy were utilized. The relics of the saints were used. And these people, the mentally disturbed people, are people those who are manifesting abnormal behavior. They were also taken to visit the holy places. And finally, this also was laying on of hands. The priest, the clergy, they used to lay on their hands on these disturbed people or people suffering from mental disorders and abnormal behaviors, and they would pray over them as a form of exorcism. And they believe that the person should be relieved from this abnormal behavior, the person should be cured from their mental disorders and